Hello Virgo, Elsie here to do your reading. It is a weekly reading for you, Virgo. How you doing? I hope you're well, my Earth cousin. Thanks so much for clicking here, for showing up here, Virgo. We are looking at a couple of oracle decks this week, and we're going to get some overall energy from the oracles, and then we're going to go with the tarot. And thank you for clicking here. So if this is your first time here, thanks for showing up here. Thanks for giving this a shot. And if you are someone who keeps showing up because you're the Virgo that is loyal and you keep showing up, thank you so much for doing that, my ride or dies. I appreciate you. Let's find out what's going on for you, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. And then at the end of all of this, we're going to talk about private reads and how you can find and extend it if you're interested. Let's find out what's going on for you, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Got a new moon coming up soon in a couple of days on Sunday. I'm reading this on the 17th. So I think the 19th is when it comes up for the very last degrees of Capricorn. We've got vast vistas. Oh, expanding your horizons. You're getting out of the box that I feel that you either put yourself in or that someone else has put you in. It feels like a new discovery. It's a time to look at something in a way that you've never looked at it before, in an expansive way. Maybe you were thinking inside the box. I think you're about to think outside the box. We've got the desert passage. It says, trust the divine plan. Well, this kind of says a lot of stuff, right? Kind of says a lot of things. We've got somebody here who's getting out of the box. It feels like they now see things that they haven't seen before. It feels like you're ready to expand your horizons. That could mean you're ready to try a new job. Maybe you're quitting your job and going to school and trying something completely new. It feels like you see the bigger picture now. But you know that you must get out of the box that you've had yourself in or that other people have put you in. You have to get out of that box first before you can head down the path and get on that ship, which is going to take you possibly to other worlds, right? So expanding your horizons is what's coming up for you, I think, in this new week here. It says here, trust there is a divine plan. I'm going to say that it might look a little bit daunting, I'm going to say, because it looks like this person is ready to go maybe through the desert and knowing that it could be really hard, but I think this person is fairly prepared. There are some obstacles in the distance, and I think this person is sort of measuring I'm going to say how they're prepared for whatever might show up in terms of an obstacle. There are things to be achieved here, but I think that the desert passage looks a little dry, a little arid. It looks like, am I prepared? Do I have enough water? Do I have everything that I need to go on this path? Because it feels like you're about to step outside the box with some sort of idea or a place. Like I feel like you're traveling to a place which is possibly outside of something you would usually do, because you've gotten a view from above, which gives us a broader view of life, a broader view of what's going on. When you're up in a balloon, life looks very different from the top down than it does from the bottom up. So I feel like somebody here is getting the big picture. I feel like you're thinking, you know what? I think, I was walking around inside this border that I had created for myself, inside the box I had created for myself. It's time for me to trust in the divine plan and get the bigger picture by getting outside of my comfort zone and doing something different than I've ever done before. Tell me more about Virgo. We've got show the world the real you. Look, maybe you're like me. Maybe you're a bit of a weirdo. Because this always reminds me of Aquarius. Because Aquarius is outside the box. Aquarius is a little bit of a weirdo. It doesn't really care what other people think. They're going to do their own thing, think their own thoughts. And it does make me feel like that. And then I pull this card here that is Aquarius. It says, show the world the real you. It says full moon in Aquarius. You know what I think you're letting go of? Because full moons are always about letting something go. I feel like you're letting go of what other people think about you. What they think about your path or what you're doing. I feel like you have been very rigid with your thinking or where you were going or the path you were following. And I think now that you've decided, like, I gotta go. It reminds me of the dog running on the beach going, woo, we're alive, let's go, let's go. That's what it feels like. So I feel like you are about to take on a daunting task, and it feels like you're going outside the box to do it. Bottom of the deck says, don't let your past hold you back. So the South Node in our chart is the past life. And so I feel like this could be things that you didn't accomplish in the last life because you were scared. Like, look, maybe you took a risk and you died from that risk. Like, it feels like there's something that is scaring you, feeling a little daunting because in the past it didn't work out. This could be this life, but South Node is essentially the last life. So it does feel like it's an internal or intuitive fear that if I get outside the box, that I could die in the desert. It feels like that. But I feel like you really want to show the world the real you. You could have an Aquarius placement. You don't have to. What we have coming up on Sunday, the 19th, is not a full moon. It's a new moon, and it is in Capricorn. But full moons are always about releasing some things. And so I think that you're going to show the world the real you by releasing how the fear that you have of how people view you or think about what you're doing with your life. Let's talk about your vast vistas, my friend. Let's talk about Virgo and the vast vistas. Because I think that you are kind of like the air sign of the earth signs. You're very logical. You're very grounded, but you're very logical. You're all about the facts and the details and splitting hairs and what is right and what is wrong and weighing it down to the last ounce or milliliter, or there's a trace of something in there. I want to say that Aquarius is the same that way, and that nothing gets past Aquarius, but it feels like Aquarius might be a little more free than you. So I think you're adopting this whole Aquarius energy. Maybe you were an Aquarius in the past life, and maybe crossing through the desert passage wasn't a good experience for you. Tell me more about Virgo. We've got the Five of Cups. So I do feel like the Five of Cups is telling me that I don't want to look back in my life and have any regrets. I feel like the stepping outside the box right now is not going to make everyone in your life happy. And I feel like you're even feeling a little bit of sadness because you're probably going to have to leave this box behind. And there's a lot of people and things and people you love and things like that in that box. And I don't think you want to leave there, but you know that in order to be able to move forward in your life, you've got to release some things, right? We've got the Queen of Cups. Trust there is a divine plan. So for some of you, this could be emotional. I feel like we're looking at the lotus flower, so it feels like I want to say that things are beginning to unfold for you or open for you, to show you abundance, to show you that being emotional, deeply emotional, you could be a sensitive Virgo. Maybe you have a water sign, specifically Cancer, but maybe you have Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces in your rising or in your moon. Maybe you're a really sensitive Scorpio, and not just sensitive to other people's vibrations, but I mean, maybe you cry easily. I'm a Pisces moon, I'm a blubber face, and so I cry when I'm happy, I cry when I'm sad, I cry when I'm hungry, I cry when I'm full, I cry when I'm glad. So maybe you're somebody who's very sensitive. I want to say trust in the divine plan that the desert passage is going to harden you a little bit. It is going to give you balance between the arid desert and the deep emotions that you feel. I feel like this feels like giving you balance between one and the other. Tell me about show the world the real you. Tell me about Virgo. We've got the Seven of Cups. I feel like you're feeling a type of way about that. I think you want to, but I think it's confusing. I think it's overwhelming. And I don't know if you think that everybody in your life is going to agree with who you really are. But I think that you've gotten a glimpse of the big picture. And I think that you are now moving forward in a way that you wouldn't have in the past or in the past life. I think that it's time for you to step out, step forward, and just release whatever you think everyone's going to think about you. It is overwhelming emotionally, though. I feel like that's giving me this energy of that you are a very emotional Virgo. Tell me about the Five of Cups, please. And expand your horizons. It might hurt to do this, my friend. Yep, the World card is here. It is the end of something. It is a milestone, understand. It's a milestone or an accomplishment, but it's also the end. It's the end of the chapter. It's the end of me feeling bad for the way I want to be. It feels like you are closing the door, and some people are not going to be happy that you are closing the door on deep friendships, deep relationships. Maybe this is a romantic relationship. It could be that you have decided, I've got to move on from here. I can't just sit here and keep doing the same thing over and over again. You may be in a relationship with someone who's really not supportive of your big ideas or things that you want to do in your life. I was in a marriage for a really long time and I didn't have a supportive spouse. The reason I have a business now is because my spouse wasn't supportive of me having a business while I was in my marriage. And so I feel like this could be something like that. It doesn't have to be for all of you, but there could be somebody here who's thinking that way. The thing is I feel like you're caught between the Ace of Wands and the Five of Cups. It feels like this is an exhilarating, exciting, creative time for you, that your brain's on fire. Like it feels like there's so many creative things that are passing through you at this time that you don't even have the time in a day to get it all done. I think that it's time for you to get out of the box and stop feeling bad about being this fiery, creative sort of person who wants to take a risk. I feel like you're dying to take some sort of a risk, a measured risk, because, Virgo is always measured and risk. So it's a measured risk. It's something that you will have all the details on. But it does feel like with the Two of Cups here, that it feels like you probably will be leaving behind some important relationships. Could be romantic, could be platonic. The Two of Cups can be both. It feels like you are trying to believe in yourself, and anyone who wants to come along with you can. But if they're against what you want to do, I feel like you just need to show the world the real you. And I feel like heading toward the desert path might make you feel overly emotional. It might make you feel deeply emotional because you might be out on that path by yourself and it might be terrifying. I think you're going on this path, this desert passage, to get a hold of your emotions, to get a hold of feelings. We've got the Nine of Pentacles. For some of you, I feel like you have to do this on your own. This is something you have to do by yourself, my friend. You cannot do it with other people around. And I feel like you're stuck in your head because of it. It feels like you've been going round and round, feeling like your hands are tied, feeling like there's no way forward. I can't go out into the desert alone. I could die out there. I can't go out into the desert alone. I'd have to leave the ones that I love or my relationship or whatever it is. But it really does feel like what you are about to build is going to outweigh the place where you were stagnant. It feels like you were stagnant in a place where you felt like you were being held back. This is the feeling of going to a new vibration. When you know that you must go to the new vibration, but the people that are with you are not ready to follow because they haven't done the work that would allow them to step into the new vibration without feeling like they didn't belong there. So Virgo, I feel like you're in your head because you know this is something you've got to build alone and it makes you really, really emotional. We've got the Five of Pentacles. I feel like you're about to, in the middle of the week, step into this place where you're stuck in your head feeling in lack, like nobody understands you. That's the problem for Aquarius. Nobody understands them. Nobody gets them. Nobody understands that it's nothing personal when Aquarius detaches from you and goes on their own path. It's nothing personal. It's what Aquarius does. I feel like the Five of Pentacles is telling me that you are feeling left out. People stop calling. People stop inviting you. Because you have this big idea and you want to do the thing you want to do for you, I feel like it's hurtful. That's why the Five of Cups is here. I feel like with the Five of Cups and the Five of Pentacles, more than one five for me, that is something that changes super quick. And I feel like you're about to embark on some sort of trip, or you're out in the desert passage by yourself. You're about to take some really long pilgrimage on your own. And it feels like people are dropping like flies. They're going to be like, well, if you're going to go there, I'm not going with you. I'm not taking that risk. Why would you go into the desert? Are you crazy? And I feel like you have to take the pilgrimage. It feels like there's nothing for you where you are, and I just need to go where I need to go. So Seven of Cups is here. The full moon in Aquarius is here. Show the world the real you, and I think the real you that you're showing them is the Queen of Cups. The compassionate, kind, loving, emotional, overly emotional person who gives and gives and gives their emotions until they can't give anymore. And when they can't give anymore, they shut it off. Boom. like a tap. They shut it off. Aquarius, right? Tell me about the Seven of Cups. We've got the Ace of Cups. We've got the Six of Swords. Yeah, because Aquarius, not Aquarius, sorry, Virgo is going to give and give and give. Virgo is the person who's going to serve, who's going to give. I want to make you comfortable. I want to give you the things that you need. But if you're going to treat me wrong, I'm going to turn that faucet off, and I will take off the taps. You will never turn it on again. And so that's what it feels like here. The Ace of Cups is like the ones who are turning against you. You're just turning your back. You're going to heal. You will. Four Swords is in the pouch of the person that is powering the boat, which is probably the guide. But you are going to heal, my friend. But I feel like you had a decision to make. To move to a calmer place. To, that we've got 8 cups here. It feels like to turn your back. Detach emotionally, like Aquarius would. And just release what you need to release. Because I feel like this time, it feels like this time is... The last life might have been the place where you didn't accomplish everything you wanted to, maybe because you were a person who lived in this energy of, I've got to stay here because I've got to please you, so I'm going to stay in the box. And I think that you're not supposed to let your last life hold you back. We've got the Page of Wands. We end up with you in this place where you are so excited. Look, no one is gonna talk the Page of Wands out of doing what they're going to do. This is a person who has got a lot of excitement and fire and get out of my way. I'm going to do it right now. And I feel like you are going to a calmer place, but it also feels like it's exciting. It feels like you have this adrenaline rushing or this exciting feeling in the belly that I'm finally going to get my first air balloon ride. Or I'm finally going to see things from the distance that I want to see them from. I feel like you're surrendering to the journey, which is so, so important. Because even though there is an outcome, if you don't have all of the information in the journey, the outcome doesn't matter. You can't enjoy the outcome, you can't have the outcome, and the goalpost keeps moving. Because you have to have the message that is within the journey first. So we're going to put down 3 cards. We're going to go into the extended. If you'd like to go into the extended, I just looked up at the timer. It was 17:17. That might mean something for someone. We're going to go into the extended. Please look at the pinned comment that is at the top of all the comments. Please click on more. You will see that there is a link there for the membership area. That's where I put all the extendeds. If you'd like to go there and get more, at least 4 in a month, that's where you should go. If you're interested in just purchasing this one outright, I'll leave a link there if you'd like to just purchase this one. And if you are interested in a private reading, please take the link to Hypsee. You can look at my pricing, my packages, what I have to offer there. My first package, my most reasonable package starts at $25, and an answer can come out to you within 24 to 48 hours, usually 2 to 3 days usually. And if you're interested in any other package, please book, and you will see the time frames there. I'm going to put down 3 cards. These 3 cards are usually end up being what happens next. Also, what it'll give you a bit of an outcome and some advice about how to get to where you're going. Well, there we go. We asked for Virgo, and Virgo appears. We've got the Hermit. We've got the 2 of Pentacles. And we've got the 3 of Cups. So look, you are about to make a decision that is going to work out in the best way. I think you're making the best decision for you, Virgo. I'm just going to say this is celebration and happiness and togetherness and reunion. It feels like you are making decisions that maybe you don't feel good about right now. You're barely in balance. This is the wobble. Oh God, is this going to work? I'm going out into the desert on my own. Is this going to work? I feel like you have your light with you, my friend. You have everything that you need. You've got your spirituality, you've got your light, you've got your leadership. You're used to following the self, your intuition, and you're used to feeling around in the dark. I think you're going to be fine. We're going to clarify all of this in the extended. If you'd like to be there, you know how to get there now. We've got the 8 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Yep, you are on your way. Look at that, friend. You are not only on your way, you are on your way. You're a brand new person. By the end of all of this, you will be a brand new person. And it starts with turning your back and detaching from what everyone else cares about. It's time for you to do what you're going to do, and don't let your past hold you back, my friend. All right, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to go to the extended. Hope to see you there. Thank you so much for being here and watching. I'm going to go, but I'll be back because I'm always back. I'm always back for you, Virgo. I'd miss you if I stayed away. Love you guys. Bye.